Shalom, friends. It's Rabbi Jenny Solomon here at Beth Meyer Synagogue with a Mincha moment. In this week's Torah portion, Vayera, we observe two moments when both Avraham, our forefather, and one of his wives, Hagar, sit. And in sitting, something amazing opens up. So in the first case, Abraham sits at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day, and God appears to him. And then additionally, three strangers, three angels, three men come and let him and his wife know that they will have a son who turns out to be Yitzchak. And then again, towards the end of our parasha, Hagar, one of Abraham's wives, the mother of Ishmael, they have been cast out, Hagar and Ishmael. And when Hagar can no longer bear to watch her son suffer of thirst and hunger, and she just can't even stand it any longer, she sits. And from there, she receives a message that God has heard the voice of her suffering child, and her suffering, presumably, is eased. So here's what I want to say in short. Sometimes when we are going through a difficult moment, when we despair, when we feel stuck, when we're uncomfortable, the instinct is to keep moving, to keep running, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And for sure, sometimes that's the right thing to do. But there is another possibility, and that is to sit. It sort of reminds me of Rabbi Alan Lew of blessed memory, his book, Be Still and Get Going. There is another way, which is to sit and be still. And in that stillness, something else emerges, some new way of understanding how we can proceed that feels connective and meaningful and hopeful and productive and nourishing. And that it's hard sometimes to capture that, to figure that out when we're in a state of motion and when we're sort of just continuing on the path. That stepping back and giving ourselves permission to sit, even with a little bit of just kind of momentary stillness, can help us regain perspective and figure out if there is a higher source upon which we can draw, or just another avenue to pursue. So this is my blessing for all of us, to remember that in those moments when we feel like our vision is narrow or our experience feels constricted, we can keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we can also take moments to sit in prayer, in contemplation, in meditation, maybe even to move slowly and contemplatively to make it possible for another path and more spaciousness to emerge. All right, friends, peace, shalom.